Hi, I'm Maggie. I've been a paramedic for 8 years, and today we're going to talk about cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or CPR for short. CPR is a life-saving skill in cases such as cardiac arrest, and especially if someone's heart has stopped beating, if they're not breathing effectively, or if they have stopped breathing totally. Whenever you come across a casualty, the first thing you want to check is doctors A, B, C, D. So D is for danger, so danger to yourself, danger to the casualty, and danger to anybody else around. Because if it's too dangerous, you don't want to proceed. The next thing you want to do is R, which is response. So you're checking the person, hello, can you hear me? You talk to them. If you can grab their hands, get them to squeeze your hands. If they're still not responding, you can give them a squeeze on the shoulders. If there's no response there, immediately send for help. So either call 000 or 112, because if you don't send for help, no one's going to come help for you, or you can yell out to somebody else that's around. Once you've done that, you want to check the airway. So checking the airway includes looking into the person's mouth. If you can tilt their head and lift up their chin, that allows you to actually look deeper into their mouth. And if you can see something there, you want to gently turn them over to the side into a recovery position. And if they do have something in their throats, it will come out with gravity. If you can see into their mouth and actually finger sweep it out, that would be the best way to just gently clear the airway. Once their airway is clear, that's when you can check for breathing. So checking for breathing is approximately 10 seconds. You don't want to be any longer than that, because that will mean less time to actually do CPR if they need it. So when you check for breaths, tilt their head back, put your hand on their chest, and look, listen, and feel. So if someone is breathing normally, you should be able to hear at least 2 to 3 breaths. Okay, so I can't hear any breaths. I'm going to start CPR straight away. So with CPR, you want to be close to the person's chest. You want the hands roughly where they have their armpit in the middle, and you can have 2 hands clasped like this, or you can have your hand around your wrist, and then you press approximately 1/3 the depth of the chest, and you're going 30 compressions to 2 breaths. The rate you're going is 100 to 120 beats per minute. So you can see my arms are locked, my shoulders are relaxed, and I'm just bobbing up and down from my waist. If you lose count, that's okay. The main thing is that your CPR is deep enough, strong enough, and you're going at a rate that's not too fast or too slow. So once you've done your 30 compressions, for safety, I've got a face mask. Okay, you don't know what this person has. They might have body fluids coming out or vomit. When you do your breaths, you want to tilt the head, tilt the chin, squeeze the nose, and your mouth is sealed over their mouth. You turn, look at the chest, 2 big breaths, and then you'll see the chest rise and fall, and then once you've done your 2 breaths, you come back to your CPR. So ideally you want to do CPR for 2 minutes at a time, because any longer than that your CPR is no longer effective and you just get too tired. But you want to keep going with CPR until help arrives. So either it's an ambulance or another person takes over. If it's too dangerous, you need to stop. If you're too exhausted, you need to stop as well, because then your CPR is not effective. So once you've done your CPR, if the person starts to breathe, most people won't regain consciousness, but if they start breathing on their own, then you want to tilt them to the side and put them in recovery position. And you're just monitoring to make sure they're still breathing, and if they're not breathing, you start CPR again. And D is for defibrillator, if there is a defibrillator available. When you're doing CPR on a baby, it is slightly different to performing it on an adult. Because a baby is smaller, then you don't use 2 hands, you use 2 fingers or 2 thumbs. And when you do your breaths, your mouth is over the baby's mouth and nose. And instead of a full breath, it is 2 puffs. So when you do CPR on a baby, you can do the CPR on a firm surface. It doesn't have to be the ground. And you can actually just lean over the baby. So same thing, you put your fingers in the middle where the armpits would meet, and you just press down. You're still doing 30 to 2 compressions, and you're still going at a depth of a third of the chest at approximately 100 to 120 beats per minute. And then when you're ready for breaths, so I'm using the mask again, you just reach over and you do 2 breaths. So you may not see any rise or fall of the chest, and you don't tilt the baby's head back, because if you tilt the baby's head back, you can actually block off the airway. If the baby's head is too big, you can put a towel or a small blanket underneath its shoulders. You don't want to be any higher than creating a tilt in the neck. You want the neck to be neutral. Once you've done your breaths, you go back to 30 to 2 compressions. You can do 2 thumbs like this, or you can do 2 fingers like this. So it just depends on how comfortable you feel. And then at the end, if the baby starts to breathe, you can put it into recovery position on the surface that you're working with, or you can just hold the baby in your arms, just to keep the airway open. CPR can save lives. It is better to try than do nothing at all.